This isn't the easiest thing for me to admit, but I just wanted to say that I live with a lot of sadness and pain, emotional pain. And uh, I noticed that I feel about 50% of the time, sometimes a little bit more, 60-70% of the time, I feel sad. I feel really fucking sad. And it's kind of like this kind of, it's like a heaviness that just lives in my heart. It's like a little weight that lives inside my heart, heavy hearted, and uh, a gray cloud that just follows me. It's kind of light, nothing too intense, which is why I I distinguish it from depression, because I have been depressed before uh, when I was a teenager, and um, I was also suicidal. I've attempted suicide before as a teenager more than once, and this is not that. This is uh, this is not what I would call depression, but I am sad a lot. I live with a lot of sadness, and I just wanted to say that because I went to the park today. A I went to the park. Let's just start there. I went to the park and I wrote in my journal for about the third or fourth time this year, um, in an attempt to figure out the root cause of my sadness and where all of the sad uh, the sad feelings come from, and the nasty negative thoughts. And so I wrote down in my journal, a vision map with arrows and a flow chart of where the sadness comes from and where it goes and what it's caused by. And amongst the flow chart, amongst many different things, was a feeling of being underexpressed, which was connected to my feeling of being unseen and unheard, which was connected to a disconnect with people who I feel I would like to share my heart and my spirit with, but I am not like in connection with those people because I'm underexpressed. And so this is one of um, the expressions that I'm providing. Also because I don't really have anybody else to talk to, which is another thing that was on the flow chart, that uh, you know excuse me, let this car go by. It was another thing on the flow chart that was talking about what was it? Yeah, perpetual loneliness. Perpetual, I want to say, aloneness. Um, Feeling incredibly and very, very deeply, deeply alone in this world. And, I do feel like I've had um, a lot of support along the way, like along my steps. People have come in or certain individuals have come in and helped me, and I'm so grateful for that. But I at this moment do not have any deeply nourishing friendships or relationships in my life that I can really say are like the kinds of powerful relationships that I see myself having and that are worthy of me. And I felt this way for years. I've made so many videos about my perpetual loneliness and my lonerhood and all of those things. And I want to say that because I have pretty much been in this kind of loner space, and part of it is that I've moved around a lot my whole life, and I never really had to be dependent on any like group of friends or any one person or any one romantic relationship. That I'm very like independent in a lot of ways, and it allows me to move a lot more freely and do more of what I want and say no to things that are not good for me a lot faster than somebody who was locked in another kind of pattern. But I feel very, very different, and I feel really sensitive, and I feel very like particular about what kind of energy I need to be in my element. And so a lot of that makes me want to go inside, but I also feel like just for ever since I was in preschool, I've been just perpetually alone, and I've had friends come in and out of my life, but I feel like um, with all of the beauty that comes with being a loner, um, I am it sometimes there needs to be a balance, and I feel like for me that balance is with the power that I build with me being alone and the confidence that I have. I really want to have a core group of soul family who I can really rely on to be there, and not having that is very frustrating, and it's very alienating and isolating. And a lot of the times I feel like I'm walking around on this planet kind of like this like lone flower. Like um, I just feel like extremely alone, and um, it's it makes me sad a lot. And I know I that's the short version of what I can really explain about this feeling, is just like um, and just this whole idea of like, people telling you, oh, you're not alone, you're not alone in this world. And like, that's just a bunch of bullshit, because, when you're alone, you're really alone. And some people die alone and with no family and no friends. And, um, I've witnessed that. And like, I just know that that happens. And like, I know that not every story is like a happy ending. And just I feel like recognizing something for what it is really important. And so this whole thing of like, you're not alone, there's other people who feel like you. Well, that doesn't help when, either we're not meant to be in a friendship kind of relationship, or that person is not connected with me. Um, and I'm also very like, um, I also have like take precautions around sharing some of these things. And why I haven't really been sharing too much of these things is because I recognize that when you enter any kind of like friendship or relationship, and you're not coming from a really like strong place within yourself, or you're coming from a place of weakness, or you're coming from a place of sadness, that relationship, whatever it is, however it looks, whatever you think that it might be, I don't feel like it's sustainable, because it's rooted from a place of pain. So when you have relationships that you enter into from a place of pain, then that you end up perpetuating a pain cycle with that person. And so because I want to avoid that, I don't, I tend to kind of deal with a lot of my stuff myself, and that actually, like, it kind of ends up being this thing that keeps happening. Part of what is so hard for me about sadness is that I don't feel like I can even really allow it, because I have seen the product of sad people, and I see the product of sadness, and how people who are sad but they never deal with their sadness, or they never heal from it. Healing is a better word. I've seen how it just completely wrecks their lives. And, perhaps not from the outside, like, they end up being a bum on the street, but like, you know, getting into, getting in and out of toxic relationships, being in, suppressed environments, not really living up to your truest, highest potential as a human being on this planet, in your body that you were given as a gift from God. Just all these things that I see in sadness. And really, like, when I go out, or whoever I'm around, like, I can really read people, and I can really see, like, what if they live with sadness. And so, like, it's a lot for me, because I don't even feel like I can really, like, be sad or allow myself to be sad, because I know that, like, I can't afford to wreck my life with sadness, and allow myself to go down the rabbit hole of low self-esteem, and getting involved with people who are not good for me, and people who are also sad, and who are not really doing anything to heal. And it's a lot. And so I wanted to talk about this because I feel like there's this thing that, like, this whole, like, this love and light bullshit that, people, I want to say, first of all, like, I'm not like love and light. Like, I'm not like that kind of person. Like, I know that I appear that way to a lot of people because maybe my hair and shit, but, like, I actually am, like, if you actually if you get to know me as a person, and also, like, if you look at a lot of my art, um my dancing, like, I really, I am not like that. I listen to a lot of dark music, and I like I think darkness is really powerful. I don't think that everything needs to be love and light. I think that there's so much power and beauty and depth and richness in darkness, and even in sadness. And so my journey is, really asking myself, amidst, like, this really deeply uncomfortable, heavy feeling, is that, like, well, what, like, how do you dance with it, and how do you move through it, and how do you find power in it, without allowing it to consume you, because I feel like it's unrealistic for me to say that, if I just try to erase this moment of sadness, or this this kind of way that I am, that we all go through sadnesses in life, and there's going to be, even if I erase this moment, then in the future there's going to be something that evokes sadness inside of me, and even a deeper sadness, like, and even deeper states of sadness can be evoked. And I just feel like um, that's a part of life, is experiencing pain, and sadness. And so, like, we often think that we have to be happy all the time, and it's just unrealistic, and it's not the complete picture. And I feel like um, it's kind of like, denying certain aspects of yourself, denying like certain important aspects of yourself that are crucial to your humanity, denying your darkness and your sadness, and to a greater extent, like, you know, your sexuality and like other things. Like, it's just a way to deny your humanity. And I I just feel like, maybe there's a way to um, incorporate it in a way that's respectful, you know, to your spirit. So I just wanted to say that, like, I'm I was really sad today, and I went to this huge like vegan festival in North Hollywood, and it sucked. Um, I realized that, like, I was I mean, it was, there was a lot of great food, but it was just a total. I walked away feeling like I wasted my life and my money and my energy and my time. And I think what I learned from that experience is that I like that, there was a lot of people there, and it was super super crowded. And I, again, because I'm reading people so deeply, I sensitive to energies. I just felt like that was the first time that I had identified, in a otherwise very positive environment, that there's a lot of toxic energy in this space. And I think that that's just because there's a lot of people, and a lot of people are dealing with a lot of toxic energy. And I I learned about myself. I cried on the way home. And then I came here and I turned on my computer and I made this. So, I wanted to say that. And yeah, I wanted to share this. Uh, I want to say, like, don't judge me, but like, of course there's going to be people who judge me because they're judging themselves, really. Um, but I do want to say, like, I'm not looking for, anything, any answers from anybody. I'm not looking for anyone to patronize me, or to try to tell me to, do this, or, go to see a therapist, or give me unsolicited advice, or anything like that. Like, I really don't think that other people's opinions, especially unless, they really, really, I can really feel that this person, I can feel that they love me very deeply, then, perhaps then there's something there for me to listen to. But like, I just feel like I'm not even here for that. I'm just, if I share something this deep, I'm looking for resonance, and not like an answer, like, like some kind of weird projection, voyeuristic sort of relationship that people often have with YouTube videos and other kinds of media that they consume on social media channels. This weird thing where you watch somebody like television, and without regard, for their humanity. So that's all I wanted to say. And thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that I came home, and that the sun came out, and that I was able to sit in the sun. I really appreciate this moment. And I'm glad that I was able to share as much as I did. This is what I have right now. This is the point where I am in my journey. So thank you.